Transguru is here again. We have this time, I think, a very important theme. It's trust yourself in your evolution. So this is special for Captain Luna. And she knows who she is. I'm not going to tell anybody else. So we're going to be a little bit, creative and try to be communicate with each other. Bonnie, have you got something to start with?
Well, my friend Captain Luna, she captains some big boats, and she's on hormones, but she's afraid to come out because she might lose her job. And what I've been trying to tell her is, and that I'm telling everybody, is stay on the hormones. Be on them for a year or a little more when you feel comfortable. And then you can approach, when people trust somebody to take care of a gigantic boat, they got to have some trust in them. And if they trust you and you've worked with them for a while, and today things are different. The person that owns that boat might be real proud to tell their friends, I have a transgender captain. Everybody wants to be cool and be part of it, and you get all these rich people around and go, well, I have this person working, I have this one, and, they compete. I mean, wouldn't that be pretty badass to say, my captain's transgender? But what I'm just trying to say is the fears that so many people put upon themselves is nothing more than fears they put upon themselves. And I don't mean this in a negative way, but maybe sometimes people just don't care enough. Like you're worried about you, but not everybody's going to notice you. I mean, they got their own problems, their own stuff, their own things.
Yeah.
And, if you do your job really good and you're good at what you do, I think everything in between there is just people looking for, I call it noise. That's all.
Yeah.
Bonnie, you know what? I wonder, Bonnie, in hearing about the situation, I wonder if her bosses kind of are already picking up on it. You know what I mean?
Listen, I thought that, but I didn't say it. What I'm trying to say is they trust her on a $20 million boat or whatever it is. If you have that kind of trust in somebody, I don't know, what does that mean?
That's true.
But I think you've got a very important point, Raji. I remember my time after my transition. So I was still actually living as a woman, but with some customers, I was still going out in my old self. And, I was developing breasts. My hair was getting longer. And, of course, my facials changed so much because, it started to get more, soft, more feminine. And it went very fast. And in the end, people were just looking to me like, what's going on with at the time him? It was kind of weird. It was really kind of weird. And it is true. You have to learn how to go around with your feelings, and everything comes for a reason. Everything in this world comes for a reason, and it comes at the right time. But I can understand our Captain Luna too, because, it's not an easy task to do. We all went through that, and it's not always easy. Now, she's a captain of a boat. I remember sometime many years ago, I'm a skipper. I like to sail. And at the time I was learning, and my teacher blindfolded me just to try to conduct the boat, sailing boat, not a motorboat, sailing boat, just through the wind. in the Caribbean. And I did it for 1 hour, just trusting myself that I was going in the right direction. And it was perfect. I always managed to get the boat in a straight line, fully manually, with a sailing boat. And that is what you do in life too. Sometimes we are blindfolded and we don't know where we're going. But everything comes at the right time.
Anna, you were going to say something?
Yeah, Raj, go ahead.
Well, no. I mean, that's powerful. I know how, like, in situations like that, it's easy to get a little disoriented. Even with flying, I think it can happen. And last night, after we left the restaurant celebrating our co-host Christian's birthday, I turned the wrong way on University Drive. I thought I was going south when I was going north. It was weird. And I'm driving and I'm like, wait a minute, things aren't looking right to me. And then finally I turned back around, but I still, like, I had tried to do my GPS and it wasn't connecting. And so when I turned back around, I was driving, trusting. And then I saw something that I recognized. I was like, okay, I'm on the right track. So I use that as a metaphor to say that, you might feel a little disoriented, a little unsure, but you'll get signs to let you know that you're going in the right direction. And if you're not going in the right direction, you'll also get signs to let you know that too. Yeah, I actually think that her bosses, whoever her boss is or bosses are, I think they already kind of have scoped it. Because, honey, I've seen Miss Luna, Miss Captain Luna, and I don't know how she goes from one to the other. I mean, I know, but I'm just saying, I'm sure there's remnants, you know what I mean, that they're probably seeing.
Sure.
But go ahead, Ella.
Jimmy, do you want to tell something?
No, I'm just listening. Our topic is trust in our own evolution, and whatever that is for each of us. And I understand Captain Luna's position. I'm self-employed also, and my customers are used to seeing someone show up at their door. Now this brand new person shows up at their door, but this new person is a new and improved version. So I think, and another thing I wanted to mention too, we were talking earlier, there isn't a person on this planet that doesn't know someone that's in the LGBT community, or knows someone, or personally knows someone, have someone in their family that's a transgender person. Our society, the human species, is evolving. Our consciousness is evolving to a point where to someone who's trans or gay or a biracial couple, it's not uncommon anymore. And we all know trans folks that are extremely intelligent, have extremely influential jobs and productive jobs in our society where we have viable contributions. So, I'm an arborist, I'm a tree doctor. And as long as I do my job, and I think I'm actually, what I have found in my own evolution is that my customers respect me more. And I think when someone has the courage to blossom as their true self, that's something to be admired. And that's what I see in my life. If there's any folks that are negative or degrading towards me, they're not displaying it in front of me. And I've had numerous customers where they're like, wow, looks like there's some changes, well, what do you go by? What's your name? what's your new name? And congratulations and that sort of thing. And so it's the fear of the unknown. And I think we spoke about this at dinner last night. So we're an arborist or a boat captain or whatever position we have in our society, and in our self-image and how we present ourselves to the world is a certain way. Now we're going to change it. So there's a period where we go from the known, which may be doable. I experienced some dysphoria, but I had coping mechanisms to allow me to live in my own skin. And now I'm going to transition or evolve to this new person. So there's this period where you got to go through the jungle. You have to go from a known to go to a known. You're at a known, and on the other side of this jungle is the unknown. But that's where we got to go. And our journey through the jungle is what prepares our vision and establishes that unknown to a known. And when we get to the other side, we've arrived. And then therefore, that's that sense of ownership, that sense of self-mastery that all of us seek. And it's that journey through this unknown, the journey through the jungle, which all we have to guide us is our internal compass. I think it was Raji was trusting her internal compass, say, I'm going the wrong way. Home is the other way. And so she instinctively turned around and went the other way, and it felt right. And so that journey through the jungle to get to our new self, we have to traverse through all this unknown to get somewhere that's currently unknown, but will become our new known.
I think you're absolutely.
That's pretty good.
And I have to say something, this is part of a change. In the change, there is the before, during the change, and after the change. These are the three difficult periods. When we're talking about transition, it's mostly through the change. And through the change, it is a dynamic process. It's a very strong dynamic process. Changes everything every day. And with us, it's no exception. As a matter of fact, it's really quite intense because, hormones are so incredible, strong, they change everything new.
Well, if you have an opportunity to go on hormones for a year or two before you actually come out, you can work on electrolysis, you can work on you may have to have a certain voice, but you can work on your voice and change it when you need to. I mean, what I'm trying to say is some people just go from one gender to the next gender the next day, and they have a real hard struggle because society it's obvious. But if you have a year or two or a year and a half or whatever, that you can go on the hormones and do the electrolysis, or if you're trans man, that you can go on the hormones and start shaving, so people don't see your hair. And when you reach a certain point, then you can come out and people will accept you more. And you don't have to go through that gray area as much because you've got a lot of it behind you. And if you're able to do that, it's so much easier than to just come out like I came out, boom. And it took me, over a year and a half before I even made a difference. I mean, I see it as though somebody's lucky if they're able to do that. That's all.
And, for me, I didn't make any announcement per se when I was starting to come out. I didn't have like a press conference. I was just doing it. Now, people noticed it and they reacted to it, but I was just doing it. I was just letting it organically manifest in me and come out of me. Now, of course, I did it way back a number of years ago, and it was a lot different. And people did have some harsh mentalities about it, more than they do today. depending on where you are in the world. But I mean, like for the most part here in America, we've progressed a great deal. So, people noticed, and I did get some backlash, and I did start to question myself. But there was something in me. I was getting all the noise, in my ears from family and friends and my coworkers that, no, what are you doing? This is wrong. But there was something in me that even though I had a little doubt because of the noise, I knew I had to keep going. I knew I had to keep doing what I'm doing because instinctually, I knew that it was who I really was or who I really am. And it was necessary in order for me to live my life gallantly, in order for me to live my life optimally. So trust in yourself, trust in that thing inside of you, because really, I think we are all blessed with navigation systems as an example. I mean, or for lack of a better example, but we have a navigation system for our life. And my navigation system might not be good for you, but it's perfect for me. So everyone has their own unique navigation system, and follow that. Follow and trust in that. And you will get the signs and you'll know that you're on the right track.
Well, one way that Captain Luna can know she's on the right track, you can look at her pictures from a year ago and you can look at her pictures today, and especially when she's dressed, that radiance wasn't in her life previously. And if she can just, and I keep telling her, look at the picture. And this is another thing. I think everybody that's transitioning should take pictures every month. You don't have to take a lot, and you really shouldn't have clothes on so you can see where you're developing and where you're not. And sometimes take measurements and you can see how your body is changing, because you might not be able to see it, but it's manifesting.
Yeah.
But the part I'm talking about, her face, her expression, her manifestation says it all.
Well, Bonnie, if she's progressed from a year, I mean, I haven't seen her in over a year. And I swear the last time I saw her, I just kept thinking, oh my God, like this is a woman, and she just, you could tell, like, she just gets right into it. And like, it's her.
Yeah, it's absolutely true, But I want to come back to something that Raj said with your guidance systems, because your guidance systems are so important. Your feelers, your dreams, what you dream at night, these are so important for you to know where you're going. And sometimes you don't know how to do with it, but, sooner or later, you'll see why and how. And that's... Oh my God, in my life, I had so much ups and downs, so much things going on all over the place. And sometimes you just have to trust them. And transgender is very much a question of getting in contact with your inner self. It is so important.
Ella, because guess what? Where does it start? For all of us, inside. Inside, and we have to help to bring it out on the physical, but it's inside before anywhere.
Absolutely.
I'm okay, you're okay.
Yeah, and I think that is a very valid point, a very important point, because we are transgender because exactly that inside of us tell us that we are in the right place when we've got the right gender with us. There is there's no test where you can go with your finger and say, oh my God, transgender test or something like that. There's none. You have to trust yourself.
I have to interrupt. Many years ago when I transitioned, this is in the 80s, early 80s, my dad paid like $1,000 for me to go see this big shrink, okay? He asked me 3 questions. One of the 3 was, did I look at men's asses? And because I didn't answer that question, that I looked at men's asses, he says, you're a fetishistic transvestite. I mean, you just because somebody tells you something, it doesn't mean, I mean, you know, he was just taking advantage. You know, he didn't know a thing about me, understand anything. He asked me 3 stupid questions. This is probably 1980 when it happened. But anyway, he was maybe with John Hopkins or something. But the point is, I don't think he made it too good. And Paul Walker, I just remembered his name. It's cool. He was my shrink back then. But anyway, getting back to what you're saying, it's what you feel inside. And if you feel it, then, you know, life is short. You only live once. How many people do we know that have problems with drugs, alcohol, weight, on and on and on? We can list all kinds of things. And it's all because they're running from the authentic self. And once they face themselves, the drug problem, the alcohol problem, all the other problems, most of them seem to just disappear. And I'm not making this up. You've heard it in the groups, all of us. How many times have we heard that same story?
Yeah. And we don't mean that all alcoholics are transgender, huh?
That'll be the next thing. That'll be the next thing. They'll be leaving messages on the page saying, oh, what are you trying to say? All alcoholics are transsexuals?
No, what we mean is that if you don't find yourself, and that has actually, it's even more than just transgender, it's whatever you do. If you cannot find yourself, sometimes people go into another way, which is forgetting themselves. And, you know, forgetting yourselves can be a very, very dark journey. Very dark indeed.
See, and nodding your head there, Shannon. What's going on in that?
No, I'm listening, and everything that I'm hearing is true. You know, Raji, trusting our own internal compass. And one thing I wanted to add to that, not only do we need to trust our internal compass, but we also need to persevere. You know, I think it was Raji was saying that there were some naysayers. There's always going to be naysayers, always. And I think we spoke about this several videos ago, where there's always going to be someone cheering us, and there's always going to be someone booing us. If we're not being cheered or booed, we're not even in the game.
I love it.
So the idea is to persevere. Persevere. If there's a dark moment, that's what it is. Just there's high tide and there's low tide and there's ebb tides and there's hurricanes and there's also calm, beautiful summer days. And that's how it is in a human's life. And so the idea is to persevere through times of uncomfortable, like you're going through that jungle. I'm sure in that jungle, there's clearings where there's grass and the path is clear. And then there's other parts of that jungle where there's pits with lions in them and snakes and whatever. And the idea is to persevere, maintain. And I know in my life, you know, I have a vision for myself, and I actively engage in activities to promote and make a realization of that vision, and it comes, you know, you build a house, you know, one brick at a time. So it's that persevere day in, day out, and you'll get there. You'll get there. And the feeling of fulfillment, the feeling of a sense of congruence, a feeling of being whole, you have to work for it. A transgender person has to work for it. But the harder we work for things, the more difficult the journey, the grander the destination, the more adversity someone experiences in their life, somehow or another, that translates to a greater reward. And I know in my life, the effort that I put into my life to achieve this state of being that I'm in, a tremendous effort. This morning, I volunteered at a school that teaches counselors how to be transgender therapists. And I left there feeling good about myself because I contributed to my community and those that want to help folks in my community, and then being involved with the Trans Gurus right now. all is a part of all the effort that has been applied in previous days in my life. So it's the idea of perseverance. Persevere every day. It becomes just, perseverance is just as important as maintaining the direction of our life by trusting our internal compass.
Sometimes they say when things come too easy, they don't mean as much. So you also have to put things in perspective. You're working hard for something. When you do achieve it, the reward will be much greater and mean more.
You're right. You're right. Absolutely right. And then afterwards, when you finish your transition, because, okay, you never finish your transition, but when you think that you finished your transition, you can do whatever you want. I mean, you want to go stealth, it's up to you. If you want to stay and become an activist like we are, you can still do that. I am a little bit of a mixture these days because very often when I travel for business, I don't necessarily say that I'm transgender. I mean, I never say that I'm transgender.
People don't need to know. And that's something that people, if you're listening to this and you're transgender, we've had stuff on the website because we all acknowledge that we're transgender on this site. But in the real world, we try to be as under the radar as we can. I mean, it's easier to blend than stand out. And people need to understand that we put ourselves out on these videos, but not in the real world.
And I just want to also say, if you can't blend completely, don't beat yourself up. Like, you can just be who you are, the best person you can be. There's some people that blend a little better than others, but it doesn't make it. It's neither here nor there. It doesn't make one better than the other. Yeah, so take it from someone that doesn't always blend anyway.
You're absolutely correct. And you don't have to blend. You have to be yourself. In my business, I do have to blend a little bit because I go sometimes to countries which are very transphobic. So I don't want to be caught in an issue.
Ella, are you going to take me to Saudi Arabia with you the next time you go? Okay, I'll wear a burqa.
But that's probably true. If you wear a burqa and your papers are right, It's very funny. I was in Dubai many years ago. And there was this group of women who were all with the burqas. There were about 4 or 5 women. And, in Dubai, women, it was at the airport. Women with the burqas, they're always with a man. And this man is the person which take care of their papers. So and I was really wondering how that happens, because these 4 women, so the guy which was with her presented all the passports for these 4 women and probably for himself as well, and they just let the women go. So how can they identify if they don't even look at it, inside the burqa?
It could have been me in the group of 4.
I wonder if it's when they take pictures there, if they take them with the burqa on so you can't see their face.
Shout out to all our beautiful Islamic Middle Eastern viewers.
No disrespect, man.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, it is a very big issue. I've got a friend, and she's a transgender, and she lives in Dubai, a highly, 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 transphobic place. Her issue, she's about 30. She's a beautiful woman with one of the most beautiful, fantastic eyes I've ever seen. She's really very beautiful. But, her papers, they don't allow you to change your papers.
Mm.
Why doesn't she move? Is it not easy to do that?
She's got enough money. That's not the issue. It's just...
Okay, just wondering.
I asked her. She says probably... I met her in Thailand. And she said, no, she doesn't want to move.
Maybe because it's home, you know.
Yeah, but if I was raped by the police, I don't think I would stay there.
Oh, I didn't know she was raped by the police. Oh my God.
She was raped by the police. She was faltered.
Okay. That's a whole nother story. Yeah.
Horrible. But
anyway, Captain Luna, we love you.
We love you.
You're beautiful. We support you. And one of these days, you're going to start to see it, that people look at you. Just because your outward body changes, you still know how to drive that boat.
Yes. Trust in the process. Trust in your process.
Trust in yourself. Hey, guys, anything else to add? Bonnie?
I'm good.
You're good. Jimmy?
No, a lot of positive stuff was said here tonight. And I think I wanted just to expand on what Ella was talking about, or maybe one of the other folks, is that we're all different. Yeah. You know, we're all different. The idea, the whole concept of someone being transgender, it has partly nothing to do with the person's transgender. It has everything with the person seeking congruence. It just so happens to be that they're transgender. It's a transgender person is just like any other person seeking total self-fulfillment in any way, in any means. In our case, it's that we're trans and we need to make some adjustments so that we achieve a sense of congruence so that the mind, body, and spirit all are in one sphere. And so in order to do that, here we are. But it's no different than anyone else trying to achieve a self-mastery. And so for a trans person to achieve self-mastery, we go through these changes and the caterpillar becomes the butterfly. And so this is the whole essence of all of this. It's just a simple fact of achieving self-mastery. And it's just a very unique journey for a trans person. And that's, and then when we achieve self-mastery, we elevate ourselves to a new level where we're able to communicate with other humans better. We're able to live a more fulfilled life. And that's the result, and that's the reward of the journey.
Right.
And everybody's timeline is different, and everybody's situation is different, and everything that everybody goes through is different because of where you're from and the people and your surroundings, your job, everything. And it's okay. I mean, it's okay. More people will be accepting if you accept yourself and present yourself. I'm okay. You're okay. Usually you're okay. I mean, there isn't that many people that really want to go out of their way. As all as I know, if I was rich and I could tell my friends, I got a transgender captain in my yacht, I mean, like, I would be proud. I mean, whereas in her head, she sees herself, I'm transgender. I'm not worthy of this. You are worthy.
You know, yeah, definitely. You know, and I just would want to say to everyone that know that, like, we all have a divine place here on the planet. So it's tough. I know it's tough. We all went through that time, all of us. Shannon was talking about going through the forest, I think the word was that she used, or the jungle. It's hard. It's hard as hell. It was hard as hell for me. But look, all four of us made it to the other side. So you can do it. You can do it. And trust in it.